So up till now, Nightfall's been about creating really accurate alerts using policies and having great detection. But what you've told us is, okay, well, when there's an insider risk scenario, I don't just need policy events. I really need to see everything that happened. So things that the user was doing before, during, and after the issue. We really need to see where the data was coming from and where, and how, and be able to search that really quickly. And we need to have information about identity, personal versus corporate session data easily at hand. And so we've been listening, and the feature I'm going to show you today is brand new. It's called Forensic Search. So when what we've heard from you all is that when you need to reconstruct or to do a forensic search, an insider risk investigation, you need the ability to review a user's activity over time and not just the policy alerts, everything. Being able to identify patterns like bursts or off-hour behaviors, having some staging before the exfil is important. Being able to have all kinds of filters so you can either narrow your scope or expand out. And then being able to preserve the findings from your investigation in case there is like some questions that need to be asked or some legal action that needs to be taken. So before I jump into forensic search, let me just talk about three demo scenarios that I want to go through. So one is insider threat one. We have a departing engineer, Joseph Bauer. The signal in this case is HR has said, hey, Joseph Bauer has given us his notice. We just want to make sure that, going forward or prior to the notice that there wasn't any kind of nefarious activity. Scenario two is Angela Cohen. She's a sales associate. And we did get a policy alert for her on January 1, where maybe there was some movement of customer lists or some financial data. And then the scenario three is more of like a threat hunting signal, where we're just looking at behavior and we want to make sure that everything is working correctly, or that all of our controls are working correctly, and that our employees are following our governance instructions. So those are our three scenarios. I'm going to jump in now to demo these. So sometime in February, we're going to be releasing this new feature, and it's going to be called Forensic Search, as I mentioned before. If I expand out to the last 180 days, I'm going to close this window just to give us some more space. What you're seeing now is a timeline. Maybe we'll make it a little bit smaller than that. Is a timeline of all events at the company. You can see we've had 500,000 events. We've tested this up to 200 or 300 million events, and this interface is responsive. So you have a timeline. It's color coded based on risk. If I roll over something, you can see critical, high, medium, low, and unknown. And then down below, we have lists of events where you can see the user, the asset, the action that was taken, the source and destination, account name, event time. If you need more information, we provide you more metadata. And you can also, anything that is purple in here, you can click on it and that will update the searches. So there's a lot of clickable search, both in the detail page, and these are clickable as well. So let's go through our scenarios. So the first one, I think his name was Joseph Bowers. So let's see what Joseph is up to. So just in the last 90 days, it looks like there's some critical risk activity happening maybe on the holiday break. So let's zero in on that. And I don't really want to see, maybe I want to start with this critical risk activity. So here we have Joseph. There's some, let me make sure that this is time synced. Yeah. So let's narrow in on a particular day, just so we can get more clarity around this. So it looks like what's happening here is that we have some code files that are being synced. And the sources, yep, they're coming from his device and they're going up to a Google Drive personal. And I can tell that because of the identity information that's both in these two columns. So anytime I see the little person's head, I can see that it's a personal account, and you can see J Bowers 201 Gmail as opposed to J Bowers hyperbolic mortgage. So there's definitely some activity. Let's see like all of the activity that's happening around this. Let's see if I can go back one, and then I'm going to get rid of this critical. So maybe I can get a fuller story. And let's make sure this is synced. So what it looks like is there's a download from Get to his device, which could be normal activity and it's scored as low risk. But then almost immediately, it looks like he's downloading this to a folder where it's getting synced to his personal drive. So it looks like our entire code base is going up into his personal drive, and this happened in over the holidays. So prior to him giving us his personal or his departure notice. So this does look suspicious. I'm going to respond to HR, and maybe I'll zoom out just a little bit more and just to see his activity over time. Yeah, so there is, a lot of activity that's very low risk, and we do have this spike during the holidays. So I think that this does look suspicious, so I'm going to share this back with HR and his manager, and I'm going to export all the events and files associated with this investigation. Great. Okay, so that goes through scenario one. Let's switch gears and go through scenario two. So I'm over here. I'm going to remind myself this person's name here. Okay. So on January 1, we got a policy alert about Angela Cohen. So I'm going to go in here and look for Angela Cohen. Yep, there's this activity. You can see it's unusual. I mean, she's obviously working hard. There's a lot of events, but there is some unusual activity on this date. So I'm going to zoom in and just kind of see what's going on here. And if I make sure all these times are synced, um, what it looks like is, so she's got some downloads. Um, and then she has some downloads. Then she has a USB copy. So it looks like she's downloading things from different. Let me zero in on these. Yeah, so that's the copy. I want to get rid of this. Zoom in a little bit more. Here we go. So here's all the downloads. They're coming from the corporate Google Drive. I can tell because the account name is her hyperbolic mortgage account, and it's landing on the device. And then subsequent to that, this timeline is backwards. Subsequent to that, it looks like we have data movement to a USB. And I can tell more information about the USB, like where it lands exactly. And the kinds of files that she's downloading look suspicious to me too, because when AEs leave, sometimes they think the customer list is theirs. prospect list as theirs, and that's really not the case. So this also looks like something that's suspicious. So I think that this is, a real insider risk threat. So again, I'm going to export the events and files associated with this investigation. Cool. Okay, now let's do the third scenario. The third scenario, if you remember, was just general threat hunting. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm just going to look at some threats that were, say, like in the last 30 days. And um, let's maybe look at these. Okay, so I'm looking at January 2nd, and I recognize here's Angela's. Maybe, oh, I think I've lost the. Here, let me try this one more time. I want to start um, with the 5th of January because everybody's, back in the office on the 5th. And that's the last time I kind of did these kinds of investigations. So if I go through these, um, these are these are scored as high, and what they are is uploads to G Drive, but they're uploads to their own to the hyperbolic mortgage account. So this may just be a bad risk score because all of this stuff looks legit to me. Um, are there any critical risks on this date? No. Uh, let's go to the next page. I still am just seeing things that look good. Okay, maybe I'm curious about some specific scenarios. So let's look at an asset destination. Let's say like ChatGPT. Let's get rid of this. Let's go broader. Asset destination. Huh. Okay. I'm not really finding anything. Um, someone has shared with me that they saw a coworker of mine shared something that Lisa Smith showed some odd activity. So let me go ahead and investigate this one. January 5th, there are 10 critical events. Somehow I missed those earlier. So let's look at what's going on here. Again, I'm going to make sure the time is synced. So it looks like Lisa Smith, who's our CFO, she is downloading customer lists and some board meetings and some financial projections, and she's uploading to ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT is corporate approved, so that's okay. But in this case, I can see that because of these, I can see that these are personal accounts. So she accidentally, instead of using her corporate account, which was approved and governed, she's been using her personal account and uploading all of this, internal financial information to ChatGPT, and that's something that we don't want to have happen. So it looks like maybe we need to. There's a gap in our policies where we need to add these new session parameters to our LLM policy. And maybe we also just need to have a chat with Lisa about this and maybe the whole company as well. Cool. So there you saw me demonstrate three different signals, three different scenarios with three different signals, three different outcomes using forensic search. And I just want to emphasize that forensic search is pulling all raw events from the endpoint. It's done by the same endpoint client without any additional load on your machines. And so you'll get a fuller, richer picture of what's going on in support of any kind of insider risk investigations that you'll have to do.